Dankjewel, Michel. Voordat ik begin, ik heb even iets belangrijks te doen. Mijn kinderen zeiden van, wat ga jij in godsnaam doen op die dinsdagavond? Zij geloofden niet dat ik hier de moed zou hebben om jullie toe te spreken. Dus ik moet even een tottie momentje voor mezelf pakken. Dus als jullie even heel enthousiast willen doen. Dan zijn zij ook weer gerustgesteld en dan weten ze dat er niks gelogen is van het hele verhaal. Ik ga dit verhaal overigens in het Engels doen. Ik zal zo uitleggen waarom dat is. I'm ready for this. Are you ready? Okay. Picture this. You're a beautiful young woman. Just try, honey. You're a beautiful young woman and you're married to, let's call him Ben. It's Friday afternoon, you and Ben are going out on town. A couple of drinks, maybe dinner. Quality time, just the two of you. Ben works for a construction company in town on a project, and you've agreed to go pick him up. So you arrive at the site, and through the fence you see Ben standing there. You wave at him, and he waves back, and he signals to you, give me 2 minutes. You can see that they're offloading some sand, but there's something going wrong with the sand. It seems to be disappearing down a hole. Ben jumps in and immediately disappears up to his waist in the sand. Panic. His colleagues run forth and try and help him out, but whatever they do, it doesn't seem to be working out. More panic. 20 minutes later, it's all over. Ben's no longer alive. What should have been a very careless summer's afternoon has just turned into your worst nightmare. This talk is about safety at work. It's about the safety risks that we fail to identify or fail to do something about, leading to accidents. It's about the pain and the tragedies that these accidents cause. It's about the scandalous fact that the majority of these accidents are indeed needless, unnecessary, and avoidable. It's about the responsibility that we as Atos Consulting have to help our clients create safer workplaces. And it's about me, as I want to drive and coordinate this effort for the company. I have a question for you. Well, I have a question for you. How many victims are there on a daily basis as a result of work-related accidents? Right here in the Netherlands. Please call out your answers and pretend you didn't see the next slide. So, blank. What do you think? How many? Cheater. Okay. You will not believe the answer. I was amazed when I indeed heard the number 600 daily victims. And the source of that, by the way, for those needing to know, is the CBS, Central Bureau of Statistics. So this is a real number. That number translates to 220,000 on a yearly basis. Just think about that number. I was shocked when I first heard that number. Aren't you? "18 months ago, I was where you might be today, fully unaware of this scandalous situation, believing we live in a civilized society where we took care of the people we employ. The problem with safety at work seems to be that it takes place largely outside the public domain. Ben's story did not make the evening news nor the morning papers. In fact, his death went by largely unnoticed. I'm also particularly frustrated by the fact that the majority of these 220,000 victims are lower educated laborers and factory workers. That makes that the problem is actually physically and mentally quite far removed from policymakers and management. And that in itself is probably again the reason why this number is stable at best and has been for the last 10 years. Now, Henny, I apologize. I'm not here to put a make this a black evening full of bad news. So I apologize if you're starting to feel a little down. But I do think this is a ridiculous situation, more perhaps linked to a third world sort of situation of horribleness, as opposed to the nice society we're supposed to be living in right here in Holland. 18 months ago, I entered the safety at work world. Since then, my learning curve has been rather steep. And perhaps like John, I was feeling like a young professional, unhindered by any knowledge about safety. But since then, I've built up my knowledge doing a project for the rail sector and doing a lot of research on the side. Clearly, I'm not a safety expert yet, but my curiosity, fresh thinking, and new ideas compensate nicely. The game we built for the rail sector is a serious game called the Lifesavers game. Gaming, as you may know, is rapidly gaining traction as a new and popular method for learning. Gaming, compared to other traditional methods of learning, is more active, it's more fun, it's more social, it's more interactive, it's more effective. Serious gaming is about boosting awareness and providing insights, and that's the route we went. The game is part of a broader initiative to build a proactive safety culture. It's about stimulating people to be very alert of safety risks and to take mitigating actions. It positions safety as a collective responsibility, and it stimulates people to take that responsibility very seriously. Are you ready to have a look at the game? Okay. The scenario opens right after an accident's taken place. The descriptor actually reads, 3 executions in 2 days' time? How did that happen? As a player, you get to investigate the scenario, looking for clues as to where the risks take place, and you have the possibility to make interventions to take risks away. On the bottom you see the time frame, which runs all the way from 12 years prior to the accident to 2 hours prior to the accident. In going through those scenarios, you come across all these different players and roles and functions who play the game, who played part in the scenario. Using the lifesavers, which are the green things on top, you place your interventions and you can find out whether your intervention would indeed have prevented the accident from taking place. With sufficient points, you gain promotion to the next level. The game truly is a catalyst for change. It's creating a very positive buzz on the subject of safety. It provides new insights and it teaches people to be alert for risks. And very importantly, we're getting excellent feedback from players themselves, as you can see from the data behind me. Clearly, we still have a long way to go. We'll be adding new scenarios later this year, and we're looking at multiplayer and tablet versions of the game. Also, it's looking increasingly likely we'll be going international with the game. And that, in case you're wondering, is part of the reason why this talk is actually in English. But let's move on. Some of you may have been a little disturbed about my story about Ben earlier, which I understand. But brace yourself, it's about to get worse. Now imagine this. It was your project on that day. It was your people. It was you who yelled at Ben that morning for having missed 3 deadlines. Now you are on your way to his parents to inform them about his death. Now how do you feel? And what will you say? That, ladies and gentlemen, is the part about the responsibility of safety. If and when accidents occur, we must be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, without hesitation, we did everything in our power to prevent that from happening. And my point is this: I do not believe we are there, not there by a long way. Now, doing everything in our power may seem quite daunting, but it doesn't need to be. In fact, most of what is required to build a proactive safety culture is not rocket science. And the part that is, that's what you have Atos Consulting for, right? That's what we understand, most of it anyway. I'll give you one example. Using data analytics, we can better understand where, when, and why accidents take place. We can predict which circumstances lead to what accidents. We can even predict what accident is most likely to happen tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. Other solutions are readily available today, which, amongst others, increase transparency, stimulate dialogue, and help organizations speed up the way they learn about safety. All of which are incredibly important ingredients to build a more proactive safety culture. Please, help me take safety at work out of the shadow and into the spotlight it deserves. I challenge you to go to the game and experience it for yourself. Play the tutorial, reflect on my story, and give me your ideas, which will help us reduce in the Netherlands this ridiculous number of 220,000 yearly victims. Thank you.